The OKC Thunder were one of the surprise teams last year. They managed to jump from 24 wins to 40 wins and make the play-in tournament, and what's even more impressive is that they managed to pull off this feat despite having the NBA's youngest roster, with the average age of the players on the team being just 23 years old. The OKC Thunder have one of the very best young cores in the NBA, and I'm not just talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This is a team that's overflowing with young talent, as players like Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, and Jalen Williams were all big contributors on a team that was nearly 500 last season. What's scary is that these players are all very good, yet they're years away from their primes, which goes to show that the ceiling of this young OKC team is very high. Despite their big jump, the Thunder went largely under the radar last season, but in the 2023-24 season, the Thunder are going to shock the NBA. With the internal development OKC will get from the growth of their young players, the return of number 2 overall pick Chet Holmgren, and the additions this team made in free agency and during the draft, don't be surprised when the OKC Thunder are one of the top teams in the West next season. When talking about OKC, we have to start off by discussing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA is coming off a great season, and I'm probably underselling Shai by using that adjective to describe what he did individually last season. Last year, Shai became just the 4th player in NBA history to average 30 points, 5 assists, 1 steal, and a block a game. The other 3 players in NBA history to do this are LeBron, Michael Jordan, and D Wade, which is insanely good company. So what makes SGA such a dominant player? A huge part of it is his ability to slash to the basket. SGA led the entire league in drives per game last season, while remaining very efficient with the 51% shooting percentage on his drives. He's not only fast, but he's got an incredible handle, and this allows SGA to get by his man and into the paint at will. And he's a great finisher, largely thanks to amazing footwork down low, a great touch around the basket. Because Shai is such a deadly finisher, defenders often have to foul him to stop him, which is why SGA gets to the foul line an insane amount of times. Last year, SGA averaged 10 free throw attempts per game. There's a lot of stars that get to the free throw line a lot, but few convert at the free throw line at the rate that Shai does. Shai shot 90% from the free throw line last season, which was the 5th highest mark in the NBA. He's one of the very best inside scorers, but you can't sag off of him because of his shooting. SGA is deadly in the mid-range, knowing how to get to his spots and knock down those pull-ups. And his 3-point shooting has become respectable, draining 34% of his triples last season. If his 3-point shooting becomes elite, that'll raise his game to an even higher level. And while SGA has become an offensive juggernaut, he also takes a lot of pride on the defensive end. Thanks to great defensive instincts and a long 6'11" wingspan, SGA racks up tons of steals and deflections. On the season, SGA was 4th in both steals per game and deflections per game. SGA's ability to turn the opponent over sparked OKC's transition game, where they were one of the best fast break teams in the entire league. And along with his ability to play the passing lanes, he's also a terrific on-ball defender, help side defender, and he recovers a lot of loose balls. SGA's hard work on the less glamorous end is extremely impressive because there's not many stars in the NBA that are this productive offensively while also playing excellent defense. SGA is insanely good, but what about the other young talent on the team? Another big part of the Thunder's 16-win increase last season was the rise of Josh Giddey. Giddey is an excellent floor general. He's got awesome court vision, which helps him to regularly identify open shooters and cutters and pass it to them right on the money. He's also become a good inside scorer. He's got a good handle and a quick first step, so he's able to easily get to the basket where he's a strong finisher. But he's not the fastest, so he doesn't always get the blow-by, which is why he often turns his drives into post-ups. And at 6'8", he towers over most opposing point guards, giving him a huge advantage when posting up. He's got good footwork down low, and his size helps him to finish over defenders in the post. Giddey is also a terrific cutter, timing his cuts really well off his teammates' drives. And Giddey's excellence as a cutter is a major reason he complements SGA so well. Overall, Giddey has become an absolute stud, but there's still a lot of room for growth. He needs to improve his three-point shooting, as he only shot 32% from deep last year. Now that's an improvement from the 26% from deep he shot his rookie year, but it's still below average. He also needs to get better at embracing and absorbing contact on his drives, as he barely got to the free throw line last season. He's also got to convert at the free throw line better, as he only shot 73%. If Giddey can improve on these weaknesses, he can go from averaging 16 a game to well over 20 points per game, which would be huge for OKC's offense. With the massive leap Giddey was able to make from first to second year, I have no doubt another big jump is coming from him in his third year. We also got to talk about Jalen Williams. He was picked with the 12th overall pick in 2022. Last season was his first year in the NBA, but he didn't play like a rookie. J-Dub has poise you would normally see from a veteran, and as a result, he was second in Rookie of the Year voting behind Paolo Banchero. Jalen is a 6'6" wing, and his best skill is his ability as a driver. He's got a nice handle, allowing him to regularly get by his man, and he's got strong finishing moves once he's inside the paint. He's got good touch, and his monster 7'2" wingspan allows him to extend for smooth finishes at the basket. And while he's an excellent below the rim finisher, he also finishes above the rim a lot thanks to his athleticism. On the season, Williams shot an insane 67% within 5 feet of the basket. He's really skilled off the bounce, but playing next to SGA and Josh Giddey, he was off the ball a lot, but he thrived in that role thanks to his abilities as a cutter. Most of Williams' scoring comes inside the paint, but he also did some damage from the outside. Williams isn't a great shooter, but he shoots it well enough to keep defenses honest, and on the season, he shot 35% from deep. For J-Dub to be this skilled as just a first-year player, you have to think he's got some serious all-star potential. We also gotta talk about the return of Chet Holmgren. Chet was robbed of his rookie season due to a foot injury he suffered last summer, but he looks set to be one of the top rookies in the NBA next season. Chet looked amazing in Summer League, and he reminded the world why he was the number 2 overall pick in last year's draft. He's got an outstanding perimeter game for a player that stands at 7'1". He can take guys off the dribble and finish at the rim, which few big men can do. He's got good footwork in the low post, knowing how to stay patient and pivot for the finish inside, and he's a terrific lob target where his incredible size and leaping ability allows him to easily catch and throw down alley-oops. Adding Chet to the lineup will add a new dimension to OKC's offense. I'm sure the Thunder are going to run tons of pick and roll between Chet and Giddey and SGA, which is going to generate some great scoring opportunities. OKC's backcourt players will set Chet up for some easy finishes near the rim, and OKC's pick and roll game will cause defenses to collapse, creating open looks for OKC's shooters. I expect Chet to improve OKC's offense, but moreover, I also expect him to level up OKC's defense. Chet is an incredible rim protector. His lone season at Gonzaga, he averaged just under 4 blocks per game, and while he does get a lot of blocks, most of his work as a help defender is simply using his size and length to alter the shots of driving players and forcing them to miss. For OKC, this is just what the doctor ordered. The Thunder were a solid defensive team last year, ranking 13th in defensive rating, but they were one of the worst teams at defending the paint. Their starting center, Jalen Williams, is really good at drawing charges, but not at contesting shots at the rim. With Chet manning the middle and swatting away the shots of driving players, I would expect OKC's defense to move inside the top 10 next year. The return of Chet Holmgren is going to be huge, but the Thunder also made some additions in the offseason that I think will improve the team. Early into free agency, the Thunder signed Serbian guard Vasilije Micic to a 3-year, $23 million deal. Micic had a great career internationally, winning the EuroLeague MVP and multiple championships in both the EuroLeague and Turkish League. Micic is a 6'5" combo guard that thrives as both a scorer and facilitator. He's a really polished scorer, able to both drive and finish at the basket and also shoot well from the outside. He's also a good playmaker that uses his scoring ability to create open looks for his teammates. I doubt he starts for the Thunder this season, but he's going to be a great leader for OKC's second unit, making him a great addition for the team. OKC also had a great draft, selecting Cason Wallace out of Kentucky in the first round and Keontae Johnson out of Kansas State in the second round. Cason Wallace has a really high motor on the defensive end, and he thrives as both an on and off-ball defender. During the drafting process, he was known as a defensive-minded guard, but he also showed off some strong offensive skills in Kentucky as a shooter, scorer, and facilitator. Keontae Johnson was also a terrific pick. He was a great scorer at Kansas State, not just as a drive-in finisher, but also as a knockdown shooter, and that scoring ability was on full display during Summer League. Both Cason Wallace and Keontae Johnson are tantalizing young talents with the potential to be fantastic players at the next level. Summing up everything, the Thunder are a very talented young team with the potential to make some noise in the West next year. The return of Chet Holmgren should make OKC much better on both ends of the floor. The offseason additions should improve the team. And if their key young guys like Jalen Williams and Josh Giddey make huge leaps in their game, then this is an OKC team that could go from 40 wins last season to over 50 wins this upcoming season and a legit threat to get out of the first round. Anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video. What do you think of this young OKC team, and how many wins do you think they get this upcoming season? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more high quality content just like it, please drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next video.